Hello, this is Dr. Farley. In this blog today, I'm going to be going over concepts about nutrition, poor nutrition, good nutrition, adequate nutrition, and then something called super nutrition. So, there's many people that have been involved, top scientists and PhDs over the years. And one of the people is Roger Williams. He was a PhD, and he came up with the term super nutrition. He also came up with the term biochemical individuality. And so I just want to go through some of these basic things here. And so again, there's poor nutrition, fair nutrition, good nutrition, and then there's this thing called super nutrition. What you want to know, so poor nutrition is, going into these third world countries where there's an underdevelopment of the young, there's deficiency diseases, and that does exist. Then there's fair nutrition, which is enough to not give you a deficiency disease, but it's not enough to promote optimal good health and excellent development. And then there's fair nutrition. Fair nutrition is what the medical doctors and the nutritionists tell us is good. It's kind of good enough. But unfortunately, they don't understand the idea of super nutrition, biochemical individuality. There's no testing. They throw out terms like moderation. They throw out terms like, oh, you don't need vitamins and minerals, just get them in your foods, eat properly. And I have patients that come into to me here with some of these concepts in their brain, and it's absolutely wrong. And so again, fair nutrition is still is what the medical docs are telling us, and what most of the nutritionists are pushing on us as far as nutrition is concerned. And again, then there's good nutrition. So good nutrition also is a minority of the population. I mean, I watch what people eat and drink on a regular basis, and it's garbage 101. And then even the people that come in that tell you, I'm a good eater, or they're diligently trying to eat correct. There's the idea of super nutrition, and then there's the idea of super nutrition with biochemical individuality for each individual person that must be addressed. And then a few other things here too. In medical education, what you need to realize is they absolutely get no nutritional training, and this has happened over the last about 80 years, okay? So super nutrition and talking about biochemical individuality and vitamins and minerals and enzymes and it seems outside of the norm because there's no training. So you might as well go talk to your plumber, to your roofer, to your landscaper, and to your car salesman about nutrition, because they may have more training than 99.9% of the medical doctors that you speak to, and even some of the registered dietitians and nutritionists that I speak to. They're basically influenced on this idea of fair nutrition and salt content and fat content, and they're not up to date, and they don't do any testing, and they don't do any specialty testing, and it's just not their training. So another thing too, what's the purpose of understanding all of this nutrition? What are we trying to accomplish? Well, health, right? Mentally and physically and emotionally. And what we need to realize is that we need to put ourselves into an optimal environment, okay? And an optimal environment is basically an environment that allows your cells that are constantly turning over to turn over a better quality cell or an optimal quality cell. So if over a time frame the system is not working optimally due to inadequate nutrition, and this is, I'm going to tell you, in 99.9% of the people that I see happening, then what's going to happen is you're going to get a less than optimal cell produced. If you keep doing that over time, then you get a less optimal cell, and a less optimal cell, and less optimal cell. And then over time, guess what you're building? You're building something called asymptomatic pathology. It means cells that are not good quality, they're not functioning properly, but you have asymptomatic pathology. No symptoms yet, but a pathological bad cell. Okay? And then over time, If we continue with this poor cell health, we may then move into symptomatic pathology, which means now I get symptoms. Whether the symptom is a heart attack and you're dead, a skin irritation, a chronic knee problem, a gastrointestinal problem, I now have depression, I now have constipation, I have memory issues, whatever it is, there has to be 85% poor cellular health to then finally get the symptoms. And now that we have symptomatic pathology, what do? Well, most of us, I don't, but most of us go to the doc, they get their little drug, whatever it may be, and they now believe that they did something positive for themselves because now they're managing their symptom. When realistically, the symptom was the end. It's telling you your cells are breaking down, your cells are dying, you are creating pathology on a regular basis, and then we don't even consider what the cause is. So we take our drug, and then every drug we take adds more stress into the stressed out system. We create more and more damage until we get a second drug, a third drug, a fourth drug, or we die early. Every drug we take creates more stress in a stressed out system. And let me be clear here again. There are no drugs required for health, period. Your goal should be to not use the drugs. Your goal should be to not need to go to the medical doctor and get caught in that system. That is not a healthcare system. It's a crisis disease intervention system. I will say this also. They're much better at managing crisis and disease intervention than I am. That's not my specialty. So if you find yourself in a crisis disease situation, you may need to use them. But the goal should be, if you understand that what we're trying to do is produce good quality cells, that's not a place to go because they're not even trained in it. They don't even do anything to influence it. And everything that they're giving you is the latest and greatest drug. And 1/3 of drugs will get pulled off the market because they're dangerous over a time frame. And again, remember, drugs are not required for health. None. Zero, zip, zilch. A few other things. We must talk about all nutrients, all vitamins and minerals, all enzymes, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids. These are all links, okay? And these links are vital to what again? Proper cell turnover. And over a time frame, we also must consider our barriers. We've got the gut barrier, lung barrier, skin barrier, blood-brain barrier. If the barriers are weak, then things get in over a time frame that shouldn't get in, and they can create all kinds of health issues. One more thing also. We must also, if we're talking about nutrition, understand the concept of proper digestion and proper absorption, okay? Proper digestion absorption is dependent upon the brain, okay? If the brain is not firing properly, you will not get proper digestion and proper absorption. And then you can have all kinds of nutrient deficiencies, okay? So we must understand how the system works. And without that proper brain firing down, then over a time frame, you may not get proper digestion, proper absorption, and then you will not have proper cell turnover, and your health will decline over time. Another thing, too, that we talk about are the vitamins and minerals. These are the ones that have been discovered, but we also have to understand that certain things have not been discovered. We don't know everything. We can't know everything. So when we eat certain foods, varied in fruits and vegetables, fish, meat, those types of things, we're getting things that we don't even know yet exist, but they're essential to the system. And another thing, too, are these things called trace minerals. Okay, so trace minerals. One of the ones that I find interesting is, on a long-term basis, we use, for a lot of mental health, from bipolar to schizophrenic patients, we use something called lithium. And it's funny, but lithium is basically an ultra-trace mineral that our brains require. But somehow now we've turned this into a drug. If we're eating properly and we're getting proper vitamins and minerals and enzymes and everything from our foods, we might not have the lithium deficiency. We also want to understand, too, that you can go buy organic and non-GMO, and you should. But what is left in that product? What was left in the soil where the product was grown? We don't know. So the idea that you're going to get everything you need from your foods is absolutely ridiculous. It won't happen. It doesn't happen. I never see it. I don't run blood work and see that anyone comes out with all green. Okay? So it's rare. I'm just going to tell you, it's impossible to get everything from your foods. It's just impossible. So you're going to need to have supplementation in there on a long-term basis. And if you don't have what you need, then one of those links will be off, and then your cells begin to malfunction, create pathology, and then over time create diseases. The other thing we need to understand too is that we must talk about supernutrition and biochemical individuality. Each individual person requires certain amounts of nutrients, requires certain foods that work for them and don't work for them, and you must make it specific. We need personalized supernutrition plans for each individual person, and that must be done by a qualified doctor. We cannot talk about generalizations. We cannot talk about a Mediterranean diet, the Eat Clean Bro diet, the South Beach diet. It all doesn't make sense, and it is not specific enough for you or your loved one, and it will not work on a long-term basis. So, if you have any questions, as always, please let me know. And again, the idea of supernutrition, biochemical individuality, is to make sure that we can influence proper cell turnover, and over a time frame, a better cell means that we have higher levels of healing, or what I call healability. And over time, that's when we can see the power that made the body can heal the body. But only when we give it what it requires, remove what it doesn't require, and then let the system work properly. So thank you, and have a great day. God bless you.